Hey guys.
Hey.
Today we are discussing a case that shook the nation. So you've got a husband and wife that are both doctors, prominent in their community, a British nanny, and a mystery as to how an infant, only 8 months old, died. Was it the parents? Was it the nanny? Nobody knows. So we'll have to discuss the case to find out what happened to baby Maddie.
Yes, so tune in. We're going to get into it right now.
Hey, hey, hey.
Hey.
Welcome back to our channel, Two Peas in a Crime Pod. This is my edamame, Kelly over here. She does all the heavy lifting on the show, Big Guns Kill. That's Big Guns Kill.
Check out the gun show.
That's my mama.
This is my lovely and weird daughter, Courtney. She comes to the podcast not knowing what we're going to talk about, and all of her responses are real time and funny, witty, intelligent. She has all the things.
No big deal, bro. NBD, bro. That's what I do. Yeah, everybody's always like, oh, you're getting ready to film. What are you guys talking about today? And I'm like, clearly you haven't watched the podcast. That's like the number one way I know that you're not a real one and that you haven't watched it. Because every fucking time I tell you, I don't know what we're going to be talking about. I show up just like finding out right when you're finding out.
She just brings the personality.
I'm better on the fly. I'm better when I'm not in my own head thinking ahead about it. I'm better when I just hit you with real-time responses. Absolutely. So, Mother.
Yes.
How are you?
I suck today.
You look fucking angry.
I am.
You look...
It's hangry with
She's
an H.
hangry. So she's trying to diet. Look at her. Look at the life is drained from your eyes. If it wasn't for that candle sparkling, there'd be no light in your eyes.
It's just a day. I'm sticking to the diet. Don't worry. It's just, I am miserable. I am so hungry. I'm so weak. I'm fatigued. My fat body has not started burning fat yet. We're starving, so we've got to shut your metabolism off stage. So I have no energy. It just wants me to eat, and it's just telling me go eat. And I'm not going to, so I'm miserable.
So if anybody steps to Mom today, there's going to be a fucking true crime that takes place.
I'm staying away from all people.
Because she is going to absolutely Limp Bizkit style rip somebody's head off.
My poor husband. So, all right. I've been drinking heavy creamer in my coffee.
Yes.
It's 100 calories. It's 50 calories a tablespoon. And I put like a quarter cup.
You're putting like 6 tablespoons.
So it's like I'm eating like 300 or 400 calories of creamer in my coffee, and I can't be doing that when I'm on a diet. So
unless you're on like the keto diet,
still, you don't want 300 or 400 calories. I mean,
this is true.
So I had Chris, my husband, go to the store to get me the non-dairy powdered creamer, which is only 10 calories a tablespoon. So, he must have called me like 5 times.
About which kind of creamer to get you?
Yes.
Did you say, are you fucking stupid? Did you like lose it?
I was able to not lose it. But by the last phone call, I was like, what? And I felt bad because he's doing me a favor, and he can't help it. He wants to make sure to bring the right stuff.
Because if he brings the wrong stuff home,
I'm going to kill him.
You're going to berate him. Yes.
So it doesn't say non-dairy creamer on the thing anymore. Now it just says no gluten and no lactose. So you're supposed to know what that means. And he doesn't. And I don't either. I was like, it never said that before. I haven't used non-dairy creamer in a really long time. So I took a picture. I Googled what I wanted, took a picture and sent it to him. And then he called me back and said, my phone's messing up and your picture's not coming through. And I said, just FaceTime me. My phone's messed up. I can't FaceTime you. And besides that, I was working on the last case, the Jeffrey Dahmer case. And I was exporting it. And when you export it, you can't get off the screen or you have to start all over. And it takes like a good half an hour to export.
Fucking annoying, that process, yes.
So every time he calls, I have to re-export, and I'm just like, stop fucking calling me. But I'm just in an upset mood today.
I walked in, I was like, Mama, my mama, how are you? She was like, tired and not happy and hungry and upset. And I was like, aw, how's your diet going?
I love you. You bring the joy to all the terrible things.
Oh.
And then she brought me, so Kim, what the world did you do? She got us these cups, my friend, Kim. She's been my friend for like 40-ish, 7 years, almost 50 years, since 9th grade. You know, when I was...
I think you said 7th grade last time, but...
It was 4th grade when I was 9. That's what I
Oh,
meant.
that's what you mean. Okay.
4th grade. I was 9 years old. I met Kim. She was my only friend. I was such a nerd. I was student of the week every week. And nobody wanted to be friends with me. I was the one the teacher had look over the class when she had to leave the classroom.
The narc. Yeah.
So, Kim was my friend, and I cherish that. And she got us these 2 Peas in a Crime Pod mugs. And then if you look at the other side, it has our names. But when they sent the mug, my name, I'm gonna drink my coffee cup this way, so my name was actually showing here, and the 2 Peas thing was on this side.
They originally, when she ordered them, made the cups so that if both handles were on the right like this, my right, your left, that mine showed the logo. I can't speak. Mine showed the logo, and hers said her name like this.
Yes, when it was how I would,
Or
it was this way.
Yes, when it was that way. It also showed the logo. And Kim, being like next level big brain that Kim is, was like, no. Kelly's cup is always going to have the handle to the left, so the logo should be on the opposite side so that the both can be showing the logo. And she messaged me and she was like, I saw the episode with the cups and I knew that they messed the logos up. I'm sending you another one. And I was like, Kim, you're the sweetest, but it probably doesn't matter. Like, it's really honestly fine. It's so sweet. Mom loves her cup. She doesn't know.
Sweet.
And she was like, no, I know your mom, and your mom wants the label, the logo to be showing. Like, I know she wants the logo showing. And I was like...
I love the logo showing, but I didn't care if my name showed. It was fine either way. It was a gift from you, and it was so thoughtful, and I really appreciate it.
Yes.
So we just wanted to say that. Shout out to Kim.
Yes. So now she fixed it. So now we've got...
She bought the new
the
cup.
new cup,
Now
so we both have logos out. Cheers.
That cheered my day up. She brought the cup today, so... There needs to be alcohol in this, but I'm not allowed alcohol on my diet.
Oh, I'm not allowed alcohol on my methotrexate.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's good to know that.
So we're both sober now.
We both suck.
Well,
Well, okay, I am planning a cruise. This
Yes.
is my big, so March, my brain is fried. March 28th is my anniversary. I almost said 27th, but that's your
That's
birthday.
my birthday
It's
in a
the
different
27th of November. So March 28th is my anniversary. It was also my mom's birthday. And this year is going to be our 25th anniversary. So when we got...
the crowd, like,
Yay!
applause, yes.
Did you see the episode where
You
I did that?
You did it. I was so proud of you. You're always just surprising me with how much you can do and how much you know. Yes.
So it took a while to find that stuff on there, but I found it.
It did make me laugh so hard when I heard the, like come in like the crowd. So 25 years.
So it has been a roller coaster, but we love each other very much. And we got married in the Bahamas, not the Bahamas, the Virgin Islands, on St. Thomas. And that's where we got married on a cruise. And we have never been on another cruise since. So this year for our 25th, I booked us a 3-day cruise. That's about all anybody can afford and all anybody can take time off of work to do. So we're going, but we're big fat potatoes now. And we want to do the fun things. So I was inspired after having quit smoking and realizing I can take charge of my life and I can do the hard things. I think I can actually lose weight and stick to a lifestyle change of a new way of eating. And it's called dieting, but it's not temporary, it's permanent. But I feel empowered because I didn't think I could quit smoking, didn't want to quit smoking. And
hated it the whole fucking time.
I did. And it's been like, it took 5 months for me to get over it. It's been 6 months now and I'm over it. But I realized, okay, I can do that with cigarettes. I can do it with food because I am definitely a food addict. And it's definitely got to be different for me than it is for other people. Stupid bitch in my car last night when I was hangry and grumpy. I just wanted to turn around and punch her. I just wanted to tell her to get out of my car in the freezing cold.
Did she smell like food?
Up in Akron.
Did she make you stop and get McDonald's or something?
She had a box of pizza. And she said, would you like some pizza? And said,
Mom was like, yes.
I was nice about it. I was like, oh, you're so sweet. I said, no, I'm on day 3 of this diet I'm doing and I'm not eating pizza. And she was like, oh, sorry to hear that. And I was like, it's just I'm in the grumpy stage and I'm hungry and I'm grumpy.
I'm morbidly obese, ma'am.
And she goes, and she...
Clap for me.
Her cute little size 14 body.
Size 14, that's bigger than me. Okay.
It was cute to me. She goes, I don't believe in diets. I think they're stupid and people just fail them. And I was like, you rude fucking bitch. But I didn't say that, but it's what I'm thinking, you know, as I'm driving. At first I'm like this, thank you so much, you're so sweet to talk to me. And then I'm like, just get her to the fucking place and get her out of my car. But, you know, people don't know. They don't understand that it's not about a diet for me. It's not about being fat. I'm fine with my body and how it looks.
Yeah, I will say, Mom does not really give a shit how she looks. She doesn't, that's not her concern. Your concern is your health.
I feel pretty. I mean, I don't feel gorgeous, or I know I'm not going to get a bunch of whistles all over the place, but I get whistles.
Mom still pulls dick. Something? Let me tell you, she doesn't utilize the dick, but she pulls the dick.
Wherever I go, the brothers love me. It's that booty. They do. I get hit on in the car.
Sir Mix-a-Lot was not lying.
I get hit on at Walmart.
Yeah.
Guys that...
Oh, yeah, no, Mom still pulls mad dick. In her 50s, overweight.
But,
serve it up.
Thank you. Anyways, I have to do this for my health. It is seriously about not dying. And I want to have fun. I'm not having fun. So
you should have told her, like, you should go and tell your little theory about diets and losing weight being bullshit to the American Heart Association.
I think
they beg to differ.
I just felt like it's fine if you don't mind being fat. And I see what you're saying, that people shouldn't care. It's not about that. This is a health decision. It really is for me. And also, I want to have fun. I want to horseback ride without pain. I want to walk and hike, which is what I love to do. And I want to swim in the ocean with the stingrays.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm going through this misery right now.
So it's your job as our subscribers to comment and motivate her however you want. So this is the way I motivate her. This is how I motivate myself too. In all fairness, this is how I talk to myself as well. It's not just her. I'm like, do you want to be fat? Really? You're hungry, fatty? You think you need a snack right now? Look down. Do you still think you need a snack? Look in the mirror.
This is very effective, actually.
This is what I do to myself. When I go to the cupboard, I pull the cupboard open and I look and I'm like, Courtney, you fat fucking bitch. You do not need food, you fat, disgusting bitch. Close the cupboard. That's how I have to talk to myself. So I'm sure my therapist would love to dive into that. That I cannot lose weight by being like tender with myself.
Right.
I can't.
It's not the place or time for that.
No, I have to be like, okay, fat ass. You know all those size 10 pants that you keep saving because you're going to get back into them that are really just taking up fucking space in your bedroom right now? Okay, go ahead, keep telling yourself that you're going to ever fit into those again. This is me. That's how this is like my mantra in my head. And I'm like, I'll just have some water.
She needs a drill sergeant.
I do. I need someone to kick my ass.
So do I. It's funny. Well, actually, can we pause a second? I forgot to turn off the dehumidifier. It's making a whirring noise that might come across.
This whole entire time?
Yeah, it might come across. I used the noise reducer, but you never know.
Okay, hold on. I don't want to hear. We're good. So 25 years. Cheers to 25 years.
25 years, and
25 pounds.
Yes.
1 pound for each year.
I'm okay right now at 265. Well, I was 269 and I'm down to 261 after, since Wednesday. So it's been 3 full days. That's all water weight. I'm down to 261 and I'm at a size 24. Chat GPT says I should be a size 16 or 18 by the cruise. So that's pretty amazing. I'm doing it. I'm going for it.
All right, Kels. Big guns, Kel. You can do it.
Thank you. And Chris, my husband, is doing it with me.
And it'll probably be easier for him because men
It already is.
lose weight easier than women.
Yeah.
And he's also not menopausal.
My needle didn't move from yesterday.
Yes, don't be too frustrated with yourself if you get down to a 20 and not an 18, because you got a lot of other
50.
shit going on in your body right now.
Yeah.
So, and like you said, it's about the process of getting there. As long as you're still not plateauing, but losing, you're doing great.
All right. I'll take it.
So stick with it, and I'm going to keep trying to stick with it as well. I'm not like she's like calorie counting and food, like all this. I'm just trying to like watch how much I eat. I have a habit of just being like, oh, I'm going to have 6 pieces of pizza in one sitting. And then I might not eat again for like another day. Like my eating schedule is just all over the place. So I'm just trying to have regular meals, small regular meals, and make sure that they're not anything that's wildly unhealthy. Like, baked instead of fried or what, just.
Yes.
So I'm not going as extreme as her. I don't have as much to lose as you, but I would like to weigh less. I just want to fit into my size 10 pants. God damn it. That's all I want.
I don't think I've ever been in a size 10 pants. I really haven't. I skipped over that size.
I've always been a 12. Like even when I was in high school, I was like a 12. But there was like 5 years ago, I was in a 10. And then usually it would be like wintertime, I go back to 12. Summertime, I go back to 10. And then it just 12 to 10, 12 to 10, like that. Like 2 years ago, I got into a 12 in the wintertime. And I was like, oh, here it is. And then like summertime came and I never came back. And then wintertime came that like a year ago, and I was like needing to be in a 14, but still just squeezing myself into a 12. And none of my clothes were fitting me right. And I was like, oh, okay. So then the beginning of last year, I really tried, like I was doing a lot of cauliflower and vegetables and like strict meals, and it just wasn't it didn't matter. I was not losing anything. And I was like, ugh. And everyone was like, oh, you need to go to the gym and you need to exercise. And this is before I got diagnosed with my disease. And I was like, you don't understand. Like, I can't tie my shoes without getting winded and needing a nap. There's no fucking way I'm going to the gym. Like, I can't walk down a flight of stairs without my legs like shaking and giving out. And then I need a nap. Like, can't go to the gym. So all I can do is like mild little bits of exercise and watch what I eat. That's really all I can do. So.
And it was probably medication related that caused you to gain weight.
I did. I switched my medicine up too. Mm-hmm. That didn't help. So I had a lot of things going on.
Speaking of you got an achievement with, you just started your new medication.
I did.
Not yesterday, but the day before.
Thursday night.
So.
And I didn't throw up.
She started her chemotherapy.
The cloud applauded. Yeah, I was really afraid I was going to fucking throw up. But I didn't.
Oh yeah, and you look really good today. You seem happy and cheerful.
Yeah, I feel pretty fine. And I think yesterday, I think I was fine yesterday too, but this was me. Like the moment that the pills went on my mouth, I was like this. Just freaking myself the fuck out, like waiting for something to happen.
Oh.
Like, so I think that was.
Yeah, you thought you were going to feel something sickly immediately.
Yeah, I thought I was like going to be down and out, and like the kids were going to be like, "Mom, are you okay?" And
do they think you will not lose your hair?
They don't know. They just tell you could. And from what I read on the internet, from like Reddit pages and stuff, some people do, some people don't.
You probably will.
Thanks.
Yeah, with your luck.
You're not
I'm
wrong, but can you stop
honest.
fucking saying it out loud?
Sorry.
I already don't have a lot of hair. Look at this forehead. Look at how far back.
The same forehead.
Yeah, thanks, bitch. I know where I got it from.
I know.
I already don't have a lot to lose.
That's why I'm saying you'll probably lose it. I'm
right,
sorry.
I'm going to buy a bomb-ass wig.
I love your hair so much, but you know what? You're going to be gorgeous without it.
I'm not. There's like huge dents in my fucking skull, and my skull is shaped so weird. Like, there's no way I could rock a Jada. I'm not doing that. I'm getting wigs, and I'm getting wild-ass wigs. I'm going to get like a bright red bob, and I'm just going to, and not like nice wigs either, like the costume store wigs.
Oh, okay.
Cheap costume store wigs.
Okay.
I'll get a MacGyver mullet. I don't care. I just won't fucking care anymore. I will wear a different wig on every episode. For St. Patrick's Day, I'll do my green bob. Okay. I don't give a fuck. Whatever. What can you do? I can't let myself get worried about it, because if it falls out, it falls out.
That's true.
As long as I'm feeling better. If I start feeling better and gaining energy and I can go to the gym, then yeah, I'll lose my hair and I won't bitch. But if I don't start feeling any different or any better, my muscles and my skin don't start feeling better, and I lose my hair, I'm going to throw myself off a fucking cliff.
Shut up. You're not doing that. Did they give you a prognosis of how long it would take to feel better?
No.
Of course not.
Nobody knows anything. They're like, this is your one, they like basically like, they were like Eminem, and they were like, Courtney, this is your one shot. Do not miss your chance to go. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime. And okay. I was like, vomit all my sweater already. Mom spaghetti. Just all it was.
Oh my God.
Nobody knows anything.
Of course not.
My soul is escaping through this hole it is gaping. This world is mine for the taking. Make me king. Eminem. When you say it like that, it sounds really poetic, doesn't it?
It does.
It's beautiful.
I got a good one. I'm going to go to the sink and vomit. Clean it up with some Comet.
Earth be my
planet.
Be rad. Oh, that's so good. If you've never seen Malibu's Most Wanted, go watch Malibu's Most Wanted. Love that movie. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about our case, Mom. We needed to gab a little bit. Look, now you're smiling and there's like a little bit of light in your eyes again. We needed to get you out of your funk.
I appreciate it.
You've been away from me for too long. This is how she gets when she's not with me.
I have a really good, juicy case. And this is true, what you just said. It is how I get when I'm away from her. I need her pheromones in my nose to cheer me up.
It smells so good in my nose, I can almost taste it.
It's like that, you know how you get a baby smell and you're just like, oh, babies.
Yes.
Yeah. It's the same with Courtney pheromones.
They just cheer you up. Because I'm everybody's jester.
You're just so shiny.
That's what I am.
You are.
That's just the glare off my forehead.
What's
the case, Mama?
The case is excellent. It's very juicy. It's got it's history in the making. It's got that kind of thing going on.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's from the 90s when you were a bubby.
Little baby.
Have you heard of the au pair case? Louise Woodward.
I don't think so.
The Louise
There's
Woodward
a new au pair case. Someone was just telling me when I went out with Liz, her new beau, Alex, was telling me that he's been following this case and that we should look into it. And it's about an au pair who ends up flipping on her boyfriend to say that actually he was behind the murder of his wife that no one suspected him of.
Oh, shit.
It's more recent. So,
like the family she worked for?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So she was having an affair with the husband.
She was having an affair with the husband, I think. If I was it was really loud at the bar, but that's the gist of what I was hearing from him. So we should look into that. He said it's newer. I don't even think that everybody's been tried in it yet, but
okay, wow.
So as far as au pair cases go,
yeah, this is not it.
Okay.
This is a young British nanny.
Okay.
An American infant with catastrophic injuries. a medical diagnosis that would later become scientifically controversial, and a global media circus, a courtroom ruling that shocked 2 nations. Gonna be good.
It's gonna be a good one.
Did I give the damn VD?
Viewer discretion is advised, as always. We about to talk about some wild shit.
This is a crime case place, and there's gonna be crimes, and not all crimes are pretty and smell good, so that's gonna trigger you. Go to a different channel.
It's time to bounce out.
All right.
That's your viewer discretion. Be advised, motherfucker.
Are you interested?
I am so interested.
Okay, let's talk about
what this bitch do to this baby.
Louise Woodward. And I remember this because it came out when you were just a baby, and
you were thinking, what if I should get a nanny? And then you were thinking, nope.
I remember, I'm not sure if it came out when you were a baby or right before you were a baby. I forget the date. It's on here. I'll figure it out.
I hope you remember when I was born.
I know your date. God damn it. Anyways, I remember watching the trial. So it was like one of the first trials that I ever watched of a case. It was not the first trial that was out there, but it was big, and a lot of people tuned in. It was like nationwide.
Yes.
And I remember thinking, the parents could have did it. I was thinking, and then just waited around until the nanny came and blamed it on her.
Like a scapegoat. Yeah, yes.
You know what I mean? I remember thinking that. But now that I'm grown and I can see all of the evidence, she did it.
Yeah. Well, in the beginning, I think it is good to keep an open mind. I think that's what they ask jurors to do is like, you have to be like, would you be willing to think that a parent could do something to their child? Would you be willing to think that a stranger would hurt a baby? Like, you have to keep an open mind so that you can sift through and find the facts instead of just being like, a parent would never hurt their baby. It must have been the nanny. Or, you know what I mean? Like, biased.
That is.
You don't want to be biased.
That is true. So you want to hear about Louise Woodward.
Tell me about this bitch.
Okay, she was born in 1978 in Elton, Cheshire, England. She had a middle-class upbringing and was known as being responsible, outgoing, and academically average, not known for aggression or disciplinary issues. So she was just a regular middle-of-the-road gal.
Okay.
At 18, she joined EF Au Pair, one of the world's largest nanny placement programs.
Okay.
She arrived in Massachusetts in 1996. It was the 90s.
Oh, yeah. This was like when you were pregnant with Clay.
Yes.
And or he was born.
She arrived for cultural exchange, childcare work, and to experience American life.
EF what?
Au Pair.
EF Au Pair. Is this the group that places them like in Mary Poppins? Like you blow in the wind with your umbrella?
I think so.
Probably.
You are so weird.
Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim chiroo. I'm gonna suffocate you. Whatever. I don't know what she did yet.
All right. Well, let's talk about the family she moved in with. Their last name is Epen. Dr. Sunil Epen was the dad. He was the ophthalmologist.
Ophthalmologist?
Yes.
Ophthalmologist. Optometry.
That's a fun
Eyes.
word.
It is.
Ophthalmology. You know what else is a fun word?
That's your eyes.
Sphygmomanometer.
Sphygmomanometer. Isn't that
The sphygmomanometer, that's the thing that goes around your arm. And
your blood pressure cuff?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Yes.
It's a sphygmomanometer.
It's a meter, measures, ometer. That's the measurement. And then sphig is heart rhythm, right?
I don't know.
I think. I had to take that medical terminology class.
You know more than me, and I was in nursing school for like 6 years.
I was thinking a stethoscope at first. That's what I was thinking, because the stethoscope has a longer name, but no, it's the blood pressure cuff is the...
Yes.
Yes, the sphygmomanometer.
Well, he was an ophthalmologist. And then his wife, Dr. Deborah Epen, was an anesthesiologist.
Ooh, so they're in the money.
A little bit. They lived in Newton, Massachusetts, which was an affluent Boston suburb. And together they had two children, Brendan, who was 2 years old, and little Maddie, otherwise Matthew, 8 months old.
Oh, okay.
They were very busy medical professionals, often working long hours, and they desired reliable childcare to balance their demanding careers.
I'm sure.
So let's talk about an au pair. Not everybody knows what an au pair is.
Yes, I think I have a vague idea, but there's probably a better definition than even my vague understanding. So please.
You're probably close. It's just a young person, usually between the ages of 18 or 26, from a foreign country who lives with a host family, provides childcare and light household duties, receives room, board, spending money, and cultural exposure. And the term au pair comes from the French, meaning on equal terms. So this is the big thing. It's indicating that the person should be treated like a temporary family member, not a servant or an employee. They're on equal terms. That's the difference between an au pair and a babysitter.
Or like a maid.
Like, exactly.
Like a, right. Okay. All right. So kind of my understanding, my basic would have just been like a nanny that lives with you instead of
from
like
overseas.
I didn't even know that it necessarily had to mean that. I just thought that it meant like, I thought that it upgraded from babysitter to au pair when they just lived on hand with you, like all the time. And they were just always there. They might not always be in the house. Like they might have a mother-in-law suite. They might not be in charge of the kids every night, but they're always on hand so that every morning they start out with you. And if something happens, they're there. That was my understanding of it. So yeah, that definitely explains a little bit more of like what it actually is and entails. And
there's actually a lot involved. Au pairs learn a new language, live abroad, and study in the host country. So they're doing a lot of things actually. And then au pairs get housing, food, weekly stipends, educational opportunities, and travel experience. I already said that.
I keep hearing about all these jobs where if I wasn't already like 35 and had children, that I'd be like, fuck, I would do that. I get to take care of kids, but like in another country and like be immersed in another culture and learn a language and help
become
somebody.
Part of the family and
fuck yeah, sign me up.
It sounds like a nice deal.
Now
I
I'm
would
just
love
this
it
old,
too.
used up bitch with kids of her own. Nobody wants me.
That's baloney.
I missed my chance.
I want you.
Thanks, Mom. Thank you.
Let's see. So what the family is required to do, they have to provide a private bedroom. They have to provide 3 meals a day. Are you laughing at my hiccups?
Yeah, you're like, ugh. Are you sure there's not alcohol in your cup?
It's not. They have to pay the weekly stipend. They have to also pay for education credits in classes in the U.S. They have to follow the maximum work hour rules. They have to give them at least 1 to 1.5 days off weekly. They have to include the au pair in family life and follow all program and visa regulations.
Okay.
So it's a little different than just, there's more rules you have to follow.
So the situation would create a mutual respect and like handshake between both parties because, you're expecting me to watch your children and take care of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm expecting you to pay for my school and pay for the place that I'm living. And so we both have like this trust with one another and, I'm trusting you to pay, you're trusting me to take good care of your children.
Mm-hmm.
So if either one of us starts to slip, I'm not going to get my education credits. I'm going to lose my visa.
Yes.
There's these little silent handshakes that are going on there to make sure that everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing. Respecting the au pair, the fairness,
Yes.
Yeah.
So the maximum work week is 45 hours per week, maximum of 10 hours per day. And they have to get 1 full weekend off per month and 2 weeks paid vacation per year. So it's like a job,
Yeah,
you know.
absolutely
It's
like a job, but
they are not allowed to do heavy cleaning, yard work, cooking for the whole family, caring for someone else's children that doesn't live in the household, and overnight shifts as free labor. So if they're working overnight, they have to be paid
that's
for
their
that.
10 hours that day. And okay.
And their duties are exactly what you would think: feeding, diapering, bathing, driving, bedtime routines, playtime, supervision, school pickups, light housework, laundry, cleaning the kids' rooms, and dishes from kids' meals. With they can feed the kids, just not the family.
So I babysat for a family before and took care of the daughter in their home while they were at work, and it was similar. I just got to leave. But yeah, like no one expected me to have dinner ready for the whole family, but like I definitely had to make sure that she had eaten if it was during meal time. And
exactly.
And if we were playing in the living room and she made a mess, I cleaned up that mess and swept the floor if I needed to. But like they didn't expect me to have like the kitchen cleaner than it was when I got there, or you know. So like yeah, like it's sounding like what you would expect, but they're from a foreign country and they know how to drive. I don't know if I want them driving my car with my kids. That's the only thing you said where I was like, oh.
Well, they do have to, if they're going to be driving, they have to have a
test
US
over here. Yeah,
license.
Yes. We drive on the other side of the road, homie. I gotta make sure you know what's going on.
Yeah, and that's hard to do.
Yeah.
When we were in St. Thomas getting married, we had to drive on the other side of the road. They drove like...
Can you imagine if you were tipsy at all?
No.
You would just like muscle memory right back to the same side of the road. Never drink and drive ever. But I can just imagine that if you did something that at all impaired your judgment, that you'd be like...
Yeah. It would not be good.
Right? Oh.
So au pairs are expected to join family activities, share their culture, teach language or customs to children, and participate in local communities. And families are expected to treat them like a big sister or brother, include them socially, and respect their cultural differences, and avoid treating them as hired servants.
Okay. It sounds beautiful.
Yeah, it
sounds like a concept that I really like a lot.
I like it too.
It gives everybody some like, you know, worldly experience. You're more well-rounded. Because the kids are going to learn about her culture just as much as she's going to learn about theirs.
Yes.
And it's so much enrichment on top of being helpful. And it's helpful to the au pair just as much because she's able to get her education and make some connections in a different country. And yeah, it sounds like a wonderful thing.
It does. All right. There were some conflicts reported by Louise. She did dislike the strict curfews imposed on her by primarily Deborah.
So the mother, the American Massachusetts mother,
was telling her,
you need to be in our house or in for the night by such and such a time.
Yeah. And so it was a strict curfew. She said she felt micromanaged, and 2 doctors.
She probably was.
I'm going to say
they're probably very type A, anal, by the book people. I can see
2
that.
2 doctors going to be micromanaging. You know, they're going to want things a certain way, and that's how they're going to want them. And
yeah. And even when you need help with your kids, nobody likes, well, not nobody. Some people probably do. Like, just, whatever the fuck you want to do. I definitely do know those kind of parents. But if you give a fuck about your kids at all, even when you know that you desperately need help, it is still really hard to get that help and see somebody doing or saying things a different way than you. And you either feel undermined by that, or you feel disrespected or worry about your kids or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I can see that being like, well, I want it done this way because they're my children. Right. You know? So, yeah, I can see that being rough, but
it would be, it's just a little bit of culture shock. And, hard to get used to somebody else's way of life if it's not like yours.
Yeah.
So, also, she said long hours were common.
But she's British, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm not an expert, but I don't think that their way of life is that much different than ours.
I don't think it necessarily
It's not like
was.
she came from some like third world country and she's literally like everything is a shock to her. You know what I mean? Like
She was middle class. Maybe things were a little bit more loosey-goosey. You know, they're from a very...
maybe, yeah, like a very, if they're very proper or...
They have to be very regimented as doctors and, you know, they have to have a very expected schedule.
Yeah. And I get that too.
Because of their profession.
I just can't see it being anything that was that shocking for her, but...
Multiple friends said that she had reported feelings of homesickness. She felt overworked as well as frustrated with all the household rules. So there,
Okay.
it was a,
So they were strict.
It wasn't all, you know, roses and daffodils. It was hard.
Yeah, I'm sure. And I'm sure no matter how great the people were to you, you'd be homesick. I'm sure.
Yeah.
And then she's supposed to be in school too. So she's got her schooling on top of the kids.
Mm-hmm.
And if they were maxing her out and using her like the 10 hours a day that they were allowed to or whatever, yeah.
That's a lot of pressure.
I can see it being a lot. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I can see that. I mean, I don't know where this is going. I don't see it enough for her to hurt one of the kids if that's where this is going, but because, you know, you could just quit.
Well, we're going to get into it.
All right.
It was February 4th of 97.
Okay.
Louise phoned 911 reporting the baby isn't breathing and he's kind of stiff. So the paramedics arrived to find 8-month-old Maddie unresponsive and having difficulty breathing. There were no signs of external trauma, but his pupils were unreactive, which is a very bad sign.
So she shook him.
How do you know that?
Well, an educated guess, but if nothing on the outside looked harmed, then my guess is that she shook him so much that he had a concussion. Your pupils wouldn't be responsive. You typically get frontal lobe and occipital lobe.
So you are
reactions.
Familiar with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, not everybody is.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's exactly what they ended up.
And if there's swelling in the
thinking.
brain or a bleed in the brain, it's definitely going to cause you to be unresponsive and you might still be breathing, but you might have lifelong brain. It just depends on how
severity.
Much happened and how long before they were treated or looked at. It could be any range of mild to life-altering to death.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I have friends who adopted a child who was shaken as a baby and then put into foster care, and they adopted him. And yeah, he's in a wheelchair and can't speak.
Okay.
Yeah, and he has just a number of problems. It's terrible.
Poor baby.
Yeah, so it's awful.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very damaging. Well, they transported Maddie to Boston Children's Hospital, and the medical imaging revealed a subdural hematoma, retinal hemorrhaging, and massive brain swelling. This is called a triad of injuries that at the time supported a diagnosis of shaken baby syndrome.
Yeah. And not just a little bit of shaking.
Yeah. The doctors concluded Matthew's injuries were violent, severe, and acute, not chronic. So acute means it happened now, not it happened over a period of time.
Because you would be able to tell if there was essentially old bruising, or if there was, or if the parents are like, yeah, you know, it's weird, he started doing this, or we noticed this. If the parents are like, he was totally fine, never had a problem, and then all of a sudden, then yeah, it wasn't like every time she got mad over the past month, she was like shaking a little bit.
Right.
It was like one time she finally like had it and
yes,
shook the fuck out of this poor little baby.
Exactly. And let me tell you, what a cutie pie this little boy was. Just absolutely adorable.
So they pointed to rapid acceleration deceleration forces, which is what the shaking does. And the injury would have rendered him unconscious immediately. So it couldn't have been the parents did it, left for work, and it showed up later. You know, it happened immediately. He went unconscious immediately.
They must have had a way to know that, because let's say, for instance, you play football and you get a concussion on the field. You don't always lose consciousness right away or notice the problems
I see what
right
you're
away.
saying.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, no,
it can
this was
happen
because of the
later
severity.
with the buildup of blood or whatever's happening, and then finally it, so they must have known something that, like, whatever they saw in the imaging, they were like, no, this would have, like, immediately knocked this kid the fuck out. Like,
That's right.
lights out. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so, yeah, because essentially we're talking about a traumatic brain injury.
That's right.
And there's different levels, because you can have a concussion and never lose consciousness,
Right.
but they can check your pupils, and if they're non-responsive, they're like, yeah, you have a fucking concussion, and you're like, oh, that explains this headache I've got, like.
Yes.
So, yeah, whatever they saw must have been alarming.
It was. He was put on life support immediately. So there was no neurological recovery. And then after 5 days in critical care, he was declared brain dead. It was February 9th, 1997. They took him off life support, and Louise was arrested. She was initially charged with first-degree murder. Prosecutors cited medical severity, no plausible accidental explanation, and Louise being the only adult present.
I'm still almost surprised if I didn't say that right, my brain skipped, that they went with first degree, not because I don't think that this woman should have been punished harshly, but with even the doctor citing that it wasn't like there was no bruising on the body to suggest that she had been harming the baby for weeks, or old bruises in the head, or reports of the kid, losing cognitive function over time, like he had been being abused repeatedly.
Mm-hmm.
The way that it sounds like she finally just snapped and lost it doesn't sound like first-degree murder to me, although I'm not an expert in the law, and I'm certainly not an expert in the law in every state, let alone Massachusetts, where I'm not from. Maybe there's something there that says that for harming a child.
I feel like they might have changed the plea or the charge later, like initially.
Maybe she pled down or something. But
no, she didn't. There was a trial.
Okay.
But initially it was definitely first-degree murder that they charged her. It says here she was initially charged with.
Okay.
So I think they did change that.
Okay.
After doing some
It sounds like the best you're going to get is that it wasn't premeditated. Like, she wasn't like, she didn't have on her calendar weeks before, like, this is the day I'm going to shake Maddie to death. Like,
exactly.
It sounds like a heat of a moment thing, which again, I'm not in no way fucking condoning or saying don't throw our ass in jail forever. I'm just saying the way that the law works, first degree usually means there's a level of premeditation to it.
Right.
Whereas, if she had never shook him before and been warned, like, hey, this could have fucking killed him. Even though you should know that, but still, like, to lose your shit in the heat of a moment and do something is not the same as meditation. But
no.
So I'll just be interested. I'm just interested to see where that goes. Because when you said first degree, I was like, oh, really? Huh.
You're right. Well, the media immediately seized on the young British nanny angle and the severity of the infant's injuries, and then childcare safety concerns exploded across the nation. Some saw Louise as a dangerous caregiver, but others believed she was a frightened teen caught in a medical mystery.
How old was she again?
So she was born in 78. This happened in 96, so about 18. It happened in 97.
Okay,
she was 19.
Like 19.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I feel like at 19, unless you've lived under a fucking rock, you know that you're not supposed to, like, shake babies.
Well,
and I would guess that you have to
this was back then. People
Even
didn't-
back then.
People didn't even know the term shaken baby syndrome until this case came out all over the TV. Yeah.
So this was prior to the never shake a baby slogan that you hear at the hospital when you have a baby.
Yes. So yeah, absolutely. That's why it was groundbreaking.
Well, I know that the science behind like what happens when you shake an infant brain is way more prevalent and talked about now than it was in the past. Like, I know that.
This is one of the reasons.
Okay. I thought that it was still like known though.
No.
When you had me, did they tell you like, hey, don't shake that thing?
I don't remember. They might have. They may have. But I don't. I feel like I would have remembered that.
Like in the 1800s.
I feel like watching the trial was the first time that I'd ever even heard of it.
About such a thing?
And thought to myself, who would do that in the first place? Who would shake a baby?
Well, that's what I was going to say. Like in the 1800s, where like the woman, they're at the doctor's office and the woman's like drinking a cocktail and smoking a cigarette. Like at the doctor's office, they like offer her a brandy while she's there to ease her nerves with her big like 8-month pregnant stomach. And she's like, anything I need to know? And they're like, yeah, here's a great and helpful tip. If they're just crying, and you're just tired, just shake them a little. Like they'll quiet up real fast. Just a little bit of shaking. They'll finally fall asleep. You'll feel better. Everybody wins. And then they'll move a little slower too. You know, it'll be great for you. And she's like, oh, thanks, doc. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just imagine, like, what the fuck? How did, like, to the point you were making, who didn't instinctually know that that was bad? Who didn't know, like, as an adult, if someone shakes you, like, it doesn't feel good.
Teenagers wouldn't realize the damage that could be done. They wouldn't realize that a baby's brain can bounce around in its head, because that doesn't happen to adults.
Yes, it does.
Not the same way.
Not the same way, but it does.
Not to the same extent.
But, no, you're right. But what you're ultimately talking about is, yes, teenagers, because you don't have a fully developed frontal lobe yet. You don't have the ability to think in terms of chess. Like, if I do this thing, what are the next 3 things that are going to happen? You act more instantaneously, and you just do what you're feeling without the ability to regulate your emotions. And so, yes, children and teenagers are guilty of that because they're still learning how to do that. And they're still learning through example, let alone brain development, that like, hey, sometimes you need to chill the fuck out and think something through before you do it. But adults do the same thing. Let's not act like adults don't shake their fucking babies still to this day.
Oh, yeah.
And it's because even when you're fully grown and your frontal lobe should be formed completely and you should know how to self-regulate, you put someone in a position that is lacking in those skills at all, and then you deprive them of sleep and rest and completely take away their like autonomy and their like sense of self. And you are just living to make sure that this other baby like lives right now. You put them in the situation where they're scared and they're stressed and they're tired and they're probably not eating right. And, you know, like,
yeah,
it's a recipe for disaster.
It could
like,
be. It definitely
if you're
can be.
lacking in skills. Because
Right.
normal people,
Or support.
because I had babies and I know how fucking hard it is and how like stressed you get. And normal people know like, okay, you know what? I'm going to call for help, or I'm just going to lay the baby in the crib and I'm just going to take a minute because,
They didn't have those training classes back then.
yeah, no.
And you felt guilty for laying a baby down and letting her cry.
No, there's something chemically happening in you that when your baby's crying, especially as the woman, you think, I need to go and tend to that baby. Like, I need to make them stop crying. Like,
Right.
it is instinctually in you to, like, crying is bad, baby needs something.
Yeah. And when you're younger, you kind of feel like somebody's going to think it's my fault if this baby is
This
crying.
baby's crying again, and you're
So-
kind of in a mix between, like, what am I doing wrong? And also, shut the fuck up, little baby. Like,
Right.
you're just stressed out. Like,
It is.
everybody's mad at everybody. The baby's mad that you're not doing whatever it is that it needs and you're not a mind reader. You're mad that the baby expects you to be a fucking mind reader
Mhm.
and you're tired. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, it's a very frustrating situation to be in. But ultimately, if you have any kind of light inside of you, you end up just feeling bad, not frustrated, but frustrated sad, not frustrated angry. The
Mhm.
undertone of your frustration is sadness. Like, I just want to help this baby to feel better, and I don't know what I'm doing wrong. And this baby's
And
still crying.
If you're feeling frustrated, angry, now they have classes that teach pregnant women what to do in that circumstance, because they didn't,
back then, yeah.
you know, in the 90s and before previously. It was, I don't know if women were just expected to just have a motherly instinct, and yeah, I don't know.
Well, I think they must have, because if every person that ever had a baby and felt frustrated shook their baby, we wouldn't have the population
I
we
see.
do.
It's there.
You know?
There is a high risk category or community of mothers that would be more likely to shake a baby.
Yes, and
which
I will
we'll
say
get
it's
into later.
probably
We'll get into it.
lower education, less assistance both financially and physically, like having people around you, a support system.
Mhm.
But also, if you have money and you can buy yourself a swing, that
That
could
helps.
be the mother-in-law you don't have that swings your baby.
Mhm.
You know, so money mixed with people, you can go both ways with that. And see, like, we had money, but we didn't have, when I had my kids, we didn't really have a support system of people that were helping us.
Mhm.
And so it all pretty much fell on me all the time.
Right.
And it does get to be very overwhelming. It's a stressful spot to be in. But like I said, ultimately, even on my most frustrated days, I just knew I felt bad because I just wanted my baby to feel better. And I was dealing with feelings of being inept. Like, what am I doing wrong? What could I be doing better? I was never mad at the baby. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, does the thought, like, shut the fuck up already go through your head? Oh yeah, like at 3 a.m. when you haven't slept yet and your nipples are bleeding from trying to breastfeed and the baby's still crying because it wants to eat again and your nipples are still bleeding from before. Yeah. You think, like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Like, yeah, it's hard. Like, it can be really hard, but
It
at no
is.
time did I ever want to, like, hurt my baby because of it. Like, there was something
Really?
instinctually in me that made me, like, not want to take that out on the baby. It's not the baby's fault that the baby's fucking hungry. I get hungry. That's pretty normal. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah. I don't. And if you hurt the baby, they just cry more.
I had a couple times where I wanted to hurt you as a baby.
I love the honesty.
You were colicky. Probably lactose intolerant, undiagnosed. You threw up everything that you ate and you cried and cried and cried. And I didn't know the gas. Basically, colic is gas. A baby balloons up with gas and is in pain. And I didn't know about how to roll the baby's legs up and wheel them around until they can release the gas, you know, through a fart. And you just cried, and I would do everything.
Yeah, I still cry if I can't fart. So that tracks.
I just loved you and hated to see you crying and wanted to fix it. And there was nothing that I knew how to do to fix it.
Yeah.
And you just would continue to cry. And I just remember just wanting to smack you to make you stop crying. Not because I hated you, but just because I wanted you to stop crying.
Just shut the fuck up.
I felt personally inadequate, and I felt like everybody in the household was judging me as a bad mother because you were crying.
Yeah, why can't this young 17-year-old girl get the baby to stop crying?
So
meanwhile, where were they to help?
I had to put you in your crib, and I was in, your crib was right beside our bed.
Yeah.
But I just laid in the bed and stared at the ceiling while you cried and just endured it because I didn't feel that I could leave you alone. I felt like I needed to be there, but I also felt like she's in danger if I hold her because I'm going to do something to hurt her. I really felt that way.
Well, I think that's really honest. I think there's probably a lot of parents that can really relate to that. Honestly, probably more parents than not. And like I said, there were like, after I'd raised Aubrey, I raised my stepdaughter from the time she was 2 months old. But she was like this angel baby who like at bedtime would be like, please put me to bed, and then sleep for 11 hours straight. She was the fucking outlier of a child. So that was not a good learning experience for me. She just made me want to have a million babies. She was like, perfect. Lindsay couldn't have been more different. Wouldn't sleep unless I was holding her. And would scream if anybody else tried to hold her. Would scream if you put her down. There's no crying it out. I tried the crying it out thing. It made me feel terribly guilty, but I did what people were telling me. I tried to let her like leave her in her crib. She'll cry. No, she would just scream until she would lose her voice and throw up. And then she would just make screaming sounds. Like, no, I just had to hold her. This went on for 1.5 years of me just holding her in order for either one of us to get any sleep. And yeah, what I was able to say after that was, I can see how people shake their babies. I'm not condoning it. I'm not agreeing with it. If I hear you did that, I'm going to fucking shake you until your brain's fucking bleeding. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not agreeing with it. I'm saying I can see how it gets there. If you don't have good skills, and if you are lacking in support or education, I can see how it gets there. It really does test a person. And some people don't pass the fucking test.
Yeah.
I can see it. I wouldn't say I'm sympathizing with it, because you're supposed to be the fucking adult. Why did you have a fucking baby if you weren't?
Yeah, there's no excuse for it.
No, I'm not excusing it.
But you see how it builds to that.
Yeah.
If you don't have.
And there are so many other things that you can do to not do that. Like, maybe you don't have any help. Lord knows that I really did not have any fucking help when I had Lindsay. Fuck no. Oh, I had people that say like, oh, I'll help. But they had half of those people had their own lives and really couldn't have come at 3 a.m. to help me when I needed it, because they had their own fucking kids and their own lives. And the other half, it was lip service. They weren't going to fucking come help me. And I didn't have you. We weren't talking at the time.
Right.
And Dad doesn't know how to hold a baby or know how to take care of a baby. He didn't know how to take care of us. God bless him. He does good with older kids, but he's not Dad's one of the people who would be like, shut the fuck up. Like, that's Dad. So, no, I didn't have anybody. And my husband was like, well, one of us has to sleep because I have to work. And he did. He did have to work. And I did respect that one of us had to be able to fully function to bring an income home. So I let him sleep and I dealt with it all on my own.
Yeah.
And, yeah, there were definitely nights where I was like, I don't know how much longer I can fucking do this. And it wasn't even because holding her in order for both of us to sleep was bad. Like, we both slept then. We both slept when I was holding her, when I was next to her and put my hand on her. We both slept great. Then you deal with all the fucking judgment of people saying that you're not supposed to co-sleep, or you're going to roll over and smash your baby, or you're going to drop your baby, or you're going to suffocate your baby, and you're not teaching your baby how to be independent. No matter what you do as a mom, you're doing it wrong, and everyone's going to feel the need to fucking tell you how you're doing it wrong, no matter what you're doing. Doesn't matter. You finally think you're doing something right, and you're following one journal that says definitely do it this way, you're still going to have people pipe up over here that say you're doing it wrong. Like,
you have to learn to let that not feel like a judgment, and to not let it take over, and to follow your own cues. And you know what's right, and you know what you're capable of and what you're not capable of.
Yeah.
And
it made me a lot better at being like, oh, you don't like that I'm holding my baby while I sleep? You want to come over? I'll see you at 2. Oh, no? Then shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
I'm doing the best I can, which is all any of us can do.
Yes.
And you know what? She's 11 now. Smartest girl in her class. Funny, bright.
Exactly.
So,
yeah,
it's hard.
It is hard.
Having babies is hard.
And I think it's harder when you're younger because you don't have that self-assurance.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I was only 24 when I had Lindsay, and like we've said in other episodes, I don't think that I became an adult until I was like 28.
Yeah.
And I had already raised 2 babies and just had Harvey when I was 27.
Mm-hmm.
So I had 3 kids before I actually realized, like, I'm an adult and I can do things and I can think things and I believe in myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had already put 3 babies. Well, not 2 babies, and then Aubrey was not mine, but I had already taken care of 3 babies by the time that I like felt like an adult.
Yeah.
So
the difference is huge. Like I had you when I was 17, and then how old was I when Clay was born? 23?
96, 23.
And
Yep.
then, or,
22.
I was 22.
You were 22, almost 23.
And then I was 30 when Christopher was born, or 29.
What a difference.
Huge difference. I felt like a woman. I felt grown. I felt like I knew what I was doing. And I
don't feel like you're doing things to be grown.
Yeah.
You're grown and you're choosing to do things.
Yes. There's a difference.
I'm going to have a mom. I'm going to be a mom because I got married, because that's what people who are in love do. And I'm going to have a baby because I want to be a mom. And then everyone's going to know that I'm a real adult. Guess what? Nobody fucking cared, just like they didn't care before, just like they never would have cared.
Right.
I was the only one that I needed to like fucking
prove
impress.
Something to. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't find yourself feeling like you have to prove anything to anybody. You're just doing what you feel. You're following your gut, and life's a little easier.
Yeah. When you let go of all the other stuff.
Yeah.
All the chirping. There's always this chirping. And when you just learn to just tune it out, or like, oh, listen to those
works
birds
for you, and you
oh,
let the rest just fall to the
listen
side.
to those funny little birds. Aren't they cute? And you keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then you got this bitch over here who's just shaking babies that aren't even hers, that she had no reason to feel that frustrated about, because what the fuck were you frustrated for? You only had to watch that baby for 10 hours a day. You weren't the one overnights with it. You weren't the one, like, you get to fucking clock out and go home. Like, what? I'm talking about parents who have no reprieve from the fucking crying because it's their kid and they don't have a fucking au pair.
Yeah.
You were getting paid, bitch. That's your job. You had one job.
I know. Well, let's talk about little Maddie Eben.
I don't wanna.
He was 8 months, born in May of 96.
Just before my brother. Just
Cutest
before
little cutie pie.
Yeah.
They lived in Newton, Massachusetts. He was the youngest son of Sunil and Deborah Eben, and he had an older brother who was 2 years old named Brendan. He was described as healthy, normally developing, and meeting expected infant milestones of the time. Though he was very young, those close to the family described him as gentle and easygoing, curious, and already pulling himself up and exploring. Bonded with his older brother, who was very protective and affectionate to him.
Oh, absolutely.
And then a typical thriving infant, just smiling readily, very playful, and responding to voices and faces. Relatives spoke of him as a beautiful, happy baby, well loved, and surrounded by an extended family on both sides. So,
Little baby.
yeah.
Maybe it's such a fun age. They're so much fun because they're just to the point where they can kind of sit up on their own, maybe rolling over. They've got good neck strength at that point. You know, they're responding to words. They're maybe not trying to say words yet. Maybe babble a little, like, incoherently, but they're definitely responding to your words. Like, if you're like, oh, Dada's coming, like, they'll look like, I know Dada means that dude's about to walk in, like, that I love. Like,
Yeah.
They know some things. You've introduced some solid foods. They're getting that hand-eye coordination, that dexterity. They're reaching for things. They're shaking things. They're interacting. Oh, and they definitely would recognize a sibling.
Oh, yeah.
At that age. They definitely would get excited about
for sure.
Big Brother coming in, even if Big Brother's only 2. They know, and
They do, and they love them.
and at that, if you have a Big Brother, like if they have a 2-year-old and this 8-month-old, it usually, not always, but usually means that the 8-month-old is pushing the boundaries of the development, like trying to crawl a little sooner, rolling over a little sooner, looking around a little sooner, maybe talking. Like these things come sooner because they have a child right there that is modeling these behaviors to them and showing them like, look how I can walk around. And they're like, oh, sweet. Like, I want to do that too. Like,
Right.
you know, it's
You walked at 9 months. You were born, in November? You walked at 9 months, and so did Christopher. So he was born in February.
yes.
He walked on Thanksgiving Day, which was,
Oh.
yeah. I've got it on camera. But yeah, you and Christopher were very advanced. Clay was a potato.
Yes. Clay still is a potato.
And he didn't care about you modeling.
Clay's never really been one who's been
He
moved
saw
by those
you
around him. He
and
still
me.
doesn't give a fuck.
Everybody was just the people that brought stuff to him. He knew how to make noises, but he didn't even talk. He got his point across. We all just read his mind and knew what he wanted.
Yeah.
And he talked when he felt like it. And I think he was like 1.5 when he decided to say things. And you and Christopher were saying stuff before you were 1. You know, just had your little phrases. Your little phrase that was so precious, you called everybody honey. Bye, honey. Honey. You're so cute. But Maddie was
happens?
cute too. His parents worked long hours as physicians, and that means that he frequently spent his days with Louise, the au pair. Prior to February 4th, he had no documented major medical issues or neurological conditions. The pediatric visits showed normal growth, typical infant health, and no history of chronic brain concerns or previous trauma reported by the family. So Dr. Sunil Eben, he was Maddie's father. As we said, he was an ophthalmologist, and that's an eye surgeon. He was known for his calm demeanor, and he was a serious professional guy. That was his approach. He was strong. He had a strong sense of responsibility to his family. Dr. Eben was born to Indian parents, and he was educated in the U.S. and enjoyed a successful career in hospital-based ophthalmology.
Okay.
His role in the family was described as hands-on and very devoted. He was frequently caring for both children during his off hours and known to friends as deeply family-oriented. He worked long days, contributing to the need for in-home childcare, but when he wasn't working, he spent as much time with the kids as he could.
Okay.
Dr. Deborah Eben, Maddie's mother, was an anesthesiologist, and her reputation was of a highly skilled woman, hardworking, maternal, and protective. Dr. Eben was American-born and chose an ambitious medical career path, but balanced her high-pressure work with her motherhood.
It's a lot.
Mhm.
That's a lot for both of them to, be in the medical field, work those long hours, have a high pressure job, high expectations. There's a lot that goes into that. And then also balance being a parent at home. I'm just because they're doctors doesn't mean that they weren't capable of getting frustrated and shaking their baby. I'd like to think that they knew a little more because they had been in the medical field to know that, even if shaken baby syndrome wasn't a huge thing, then somebody who's been through medical school is going to know you shouldn't shake a fucking infant. Jostling the brain around in someone's head isn't good,
Right.
But even still, they said if you have a baby and you leave the hospital, they're telling you that shit now. It's everywhere, and people still do it. So it's not always a lack of like, oh, I didn't even know that would hurt them. Like, people know it would hurt them and they still fucking do it. So,
Yes.
just because they're doctors, if they were highly educated, wouldn't necessarily immediately be like, oh, they would never. But,
Yeah, my feeling, my take on what I remember of the case is when I saw the mother talking, she just triggered me and I felt like she could do it. She's capable of losing her shit. But Not really. She was just a professional. And I see that now. She was a doctor.
Yeah, she probably dealt with a death
She
before.
just was very fact based.
They have to be able to compartmentalize things.
She wasn't emotional. She
and have
wasn't
bedside
gonna.
manner. Yeah.
She wasn't gonna cry on the stand about her lost baby. She was gonna be factual, accusatory, and to me that triggered when my mom was mean. It equated to that.
Yes.
And that's not what it was.
But let's say she lost her shit on the stand and was very emotional and showed every bit of agony. Might it have made you feel like she seems kind of guilty of something? You know? Who's to say
might
that
have some people, it wouldn't have me.
Right. Like
at the time.
You know, it's one of those things where you can never say how you would handle that situation. But I can see where coming across as very straight-faced and factual would seem kind of cold. But that's easy for me to say. Who the fuck knows how I would respond, if I would be able to ever, like, shed a tear or just have to literally shut down completely inside to, like, make it through the day. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, I can really see it either way. Yeah, that's just...
Well, she was known to be very attentive to her children's routines. And this part here, see, I didn't know this. She was breastfeeding and pumping for Matthew while working. That's hard at 8 months.
Yeah.
He's 8 months old and she's still breastfeeding and working as a doctor.
A lot of people try to do it for at least the first year or as long as they can. Fuck, I know people who did it until their kids were 2 or, you know, or older or... Everybody, it's one of those things too, where if you do it past 1 or you're still like feeding on the breast at 2, people call you a weirdo. Like you're just, like I said, you're always wrong no matter what you do. So, but yeah, it does show a level of dedication to take time at work
His
to go
and yes,
make sure that you're pumping and keeping your milk up. And, yeah, absolutely.
She maintained structured rules in the household, which more than Louise, other au pairs later described as meticulous. So she was a little bit of a nitpicker.
Yeah. I don't know. I could see if the mom really liked things clean or something, and like, let's say the 2-year-old was being a 2-year-old and like spilled paint on the floor or something. And you get pissed because now you know the mom's going to be pissed and why did you let this happen? And now there's this stain on my floor and you should have known. And like, you're so afraid of like the mom coming down on you for this mess that was made that you like smack the fuck out of the 2-year-old, like in anger. You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to see like how we get to taking it out on the baby. Like,
yeah, I just think mom was really rigid and it was
stressing this,
causing anxiety, causing a stress, you know. But she was known to be warm and affectionate, but just firm in her expectations when it came to childcare.
Yeah.
So the family lived in Upper Falls, Newton. I already said that.
You were like, I already said that.
The neighborhood was known for stability, safety. A high percentage of medical professionals lived there. And there was access to excellent hospitals. Inside the home, daily life was busy due to the parents' medical shifts. The children were the center of family life. Schedules were detailed, feeding times, sleep windows, and activity lists. The au pair's role was significant because both parents often work long clinical days.
I'll tell you though, that makes the job as a babysitter easy. When there's like a detailed, like, go do this at this time, do this at this time, that makes your life easier. A schedule with kids makes everything so much easier.
It does.
Not harder. It like literally like.
It should, unless that's not your deal.
Yeah, unless you're just like not good with kids or, you know, like, because kids love structure. And if you're supposed to do art time and it's getting out of hand, like, thank God we're so structured. And in 45 minutes, we have walk time. Or, you know what I mean? Like, well, you know, it should make things easier, not harder. I don't know.
Some people just don't care for that structured rigidity,
Yeah.
you know, but the Ebens did. And they needed it with that kind of a high pressure work schedule. And
Yeah, and you have to know, like, I need them to nap at this time and be woke up by this time, because when we get home from work, I want to have optimal time with my children to enjoy a meal and stories and bath and all of this, and then I need them to be tired by 9 because I have to go to sleep.
Mhm.
So please don't give them a nap at 4 p.m. because
Right.
then they're not going to be tired, and please don't give them a nap too early because then they're going to want another nap and then they're going to be up all night. Like,
Yeah.
Schedules are important with kids if you are trying to maintain a strict schedule yourself, which if you're a fucking doctor, you are trying to maintain a strict schedule.
Oh yeah, you have to have it.
So yeah, I don't know, like I do in all of our cases, I try to like figure out like what was the mindset of this nanny of Louise, like how did she get to feeling that stressed, or was she really stressed and had no idea of the very terrible repercussions,
I think a little of both. I
or
think
did
she was
end up
stressed.
resenting this job and resenting these kids?
I think there was a little of that.
Yeah, I just, I have to keep going. I'm just trying to see how the fuck it got where it got.
Well, why did they hire an au pair? Why did they go that route? Their hours were so unpredictable, sometimes early mornings, sometimes late evenings, and then emergency calls.
Yeah.
They needed someone who could live there.
Yeah.
And they wanted a consistent caregiver. They didn't want a bunch of different people.
And that makes perfect sense. I'd want the same thing for my children.
They wanted somebody who could form a bond with their infant and toddler. So the Ebens had hosted au pairs prior to Louise with Brendan, their first baby. And the earlier au pairs described the household as structured, loving, busy, high expectations, and not abusive or chaotic. So that information also is what helped me see that, yeah, the parents.
They had
knew
other
this.
people in the house that were saying there wasn't anything strange going on.
Right.
Yeah, they had high
Mom was
expectations.
not losing her shit.
They lived in a nice home, and they were both educated people who wanted their kids being taken well care of. Like,
Mm-hmm.
these are people who are saying, I am a doctor and I love my kid this much, so when I'm not home, you're going to be a person who is educating my child and loving them this much, or
Yeah.
there's no fucking point in having you here.
Right.
I tend to agree.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't want you around my kid if when you're alone, you're not going to feel the same sense of protection, love, dedication for them. I don't need you.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, yeah, sorry it's so hard for me to pay for your fucking school and your visa, and you get to live in my bomb ass house, my doctor's salary,
Right.
and all I ask you to do is do finger paints with my fucking kid and feed him bananas. I'm having a hard time finding any empathy in this fucking woman. Like,
Yeah.
like,
No, I get it. Some au pairs actually did note that it could be stressful due to the demanding family schedules. So let's go to the trial. It opened in October of 97 in Middlesex County Superior Court. The courtroom was packed daily with press from both sides of the Atlantic.
I'm sure.
The prosecution's theory was that Louise became angry and frustrated. She shook or slammed Matthew with violent force. His injuries were so severe, they must have been intentional, immediate, and caused by violent shaking and possibly impact. So that's called shaken baby syndrome, which now they call abusive head trauma. They don't call it that anymore.
Really?
Yeah, they call it ABH or ABT, AHT, abusive head trauma.
What was that?
Yeah, AHT, sorry.
AH, abusive head trauma.
Mm-hmm.
Traumatic brain injury. They have all these, you can't just call it a fucking concussion anymore, but.
Right. So let's talk about what it actually is. this was what the trial spent a lot of time describing what shaken baby syndrome was.
Well, if it
to
had
the
never been tried
jury.
before as like a cause of death,
Mhm.
then yeah, their job was to make a jury understand it, and then it becomes a case that you can cite and use, like becomes case law, you know? So I'm sure that they did spend a lot of time breaking down the science behind like exactly what happens to a brain.
They did. Yeah.
Which I'm sure was awesome for that jury to sit and hear.
I don't know. I was a teenager and I wasn't a
No,
teenager,
you
but
weren't 24.
I was very curious to hear about it. It was
No,
interesting.
no. I'm sure it was intriguing. What I meant was like them talking about this little boy who got his brain bounced around in his
Oh.
fucking head. Like,
Yeah.
just sad every day.
Definitely.
Just sad.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
So it is a form of abusive head trauma that occurs when an infant or small child is shaken back and forth violently like this. So because infants have weak neck muscles, their heads are heavier compared to what an adult's head to body mass is.
Well, yeah, just think if you shake me right now, I'm going to have the neck strength to absorb some of the whiplash. I might even get like a sore neck from how much I'm using my head. If your neck has no strength, like in a baby, not enough strength to know what's going on and you're getting the full, when you shake them this way, they come down and their head moves all the way from normal, all the way to down here, and then goes all the way down here, all the way back. Think of how much momentum you pick up and whiplash you get. There's so much more movement than your brain. This is just a little wiggle. You're containing it with the stability of your neck.
Exactly.
If you don't have stability in your neck, you're getting a full back and forth,
Yes.
and it's going to actually slam into the skull.
Right. And their brains are moving back and forth inside of the skull, which is causing injury because they have the fragile blood vessels and their brains are still developing. So the veins that bridge the brain to the skull can tear with rapid acceleration and deceleration, causing a brain bleed, which is very dangerous because of the swelling. The brain doesn't have anywhere to go outside of the skull.
The cavity is only so big, and you're not going to expand the skull out unless you've broken the skull.
Right.
And you probably didn't just from shaking. It's not like a fall where you can crack the actual bone. So if there's swelling, the only place that the fluid building up has to go is into the brain. And
it pushes out through the back of the head.
yes, or comes out down here, which is your occipital lobe. It just depends on where it's pushing and how hard it's pushing and how, much damage you're doing.
Right. It causes a subdural hematoma, which is bleeding between the brain and its outer coverage. So between the brain and the skull. And then retinal hemorrhages are bleeding at the back of the eyes. And then cerebral edema is actual swelling of the brain itself. And then it's called diffuse axonal injury, which means tearing of the nerve fibers, as well as neck and spinal injury in the severest cases. But external signs may be very minimal. You're not going to see much. There's no bruises.
Going on inside.
Yeah, no fractures, no outward trauma. And apparently that's one reason that the diagnosis can be controversial. So the classic triad, which is the subdural hematoma, the retinal hemorrhages, and the brain swelling, for years, the presence of these three findings strongly suggested violent shaking. But however, today, medical and legal experts stress that the triad alone cannot definitively prove abusive shaking because other medical conditions may produce similar patterns. So you have to take it in a whole. It's what else is going on with the baby.
Yeah. Yes. You have to look for anything else that was going on beforehand. You have to do a tox screen. There's all kinds of things that,
yes.
Yeah. Because maybe I'm thinking of the wrong thing. I wonder if you were if you were to put a pillow over a baby's face and they were like suffocating, I think that you would get petechial blood in the eyes from that as well.
Yes.
From the struggling and the
That's petechial
scream.
hemorrhaging, yes.
But is that different than the
retinal?
The retinal.
It's different.
Okay. So, I'm just trying to think like if there's other things that could have happened that would have led to the same
Oh, yes.
But suffocating a
we'll
baby
go
with a
over
pillow
them.
wouldn't make their fucking brain swollen in their head. So, like, that's where you're, I know there's obviously it differs, but.
So some of the type things that would cause the same triad are birth-related trauma,
Okay.
shortfalls, bleeding and clotting disorders. There's like a whole list of them. Oxygen
So, like, if the baby
deprivation.
rolls off the changing table and slams its head into the ground, like, yes, but then where's the bruise on the outside of the skull as well?
Right.
Unless they fell on, like, a big stack of pillows, but they still got, like, the whiplash, like...
Rickets. Do you know what rickets is? Vitamin D deficiency?
I was going to say it sounds familiar, but I couldn't...
Yeah, that has the same triad. Oxygen deprivation, I said that. Infection and metabolic disorders. So there are a few things.
But if the baby, and especially if the baby's parents were doctors, I'm sure that baby never missed a well baby visit.
Right.
And had eyes on it constantly. Medical parents and medical professionals at the well baby visits. I'm sure any of those other things would have been...
They were ruled out.
Spotted. Yeah.
Exactly. So in regards to abusive head trauma, formerly called shaken baby syndrome, the injuries are from inflicted trauma, not accidental. That's where you might get a different diagnosis, like what you were saying, TBI or...
Right. If you're in the car and if you get in a fucking car wreck, you can get,
a brain injury.
That whiplash.
But
now, that's why you put babies in the car seats and you face them backwards, is to try to even get less of that. But you can get brain injuries from a lot of things.
Yeah, this is just called abusive head trauma because you're suffering abuse at the hands of another person.
Right. It was intentional.
So the exact mechanism, which would be shaking versus impact versus both, may be impossible to pinpoint. Each case must consider medical history, scene investigation, developmental stage, potential underlying disorders. Thus, it's a broader, more cautious diagnostic term than what shaken baby syndrome used to be.
Yeah. And when they keep saying impact, I'm wondering, like, would it be like the baby in their crib, like a soft crib mattress, and you're shaking it down in? Because, like, would you maybe not have like a bruise externally then? Because it's like a soft, like it's hitting something, which is obviously affecting its momentum and like stopping it abruptly.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also something that's soft and has a little bit of give. So would you be less likely to get bruising?
Could be.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm just
Yeah.
wondering, when they say impact, I'm like, if there's impact happening, there would be external bruises.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, that makes sense.
If it's impact on the carpet, like you're doing it on the floor, wouldn't you notice like some...
Yeah, if the baby fell and
road
hit
rash?
its head on the floor.
Yeah, like you'd have some sort of external...
Harvey got that terrible cut just from falling off the bed.
My son fell off the bed one time when he was an infant, and he landed on... we had an extension cord to plug our lamp in. It's a long story, and it pisses me off. I'm not going to get into it, but Harvey, being 6 months old or whatever, rolled off the bed and landed on the extension cord on the ground like this, and it split his fucking head open, and he was bleeding everywhere and screaming. It was terrifying. It was the fucking worst night of parenthood for me.
Yeah.
But ultimately, never showed signs of a concussion. We had him checked. Other than like the pain from where it hit and happened, he was like totally fine then. But yeah, that was like, what, how high is that? My bed,
It's quite a fall
three and
for
a half
baby.
foot.
It's quite a fall.
And then onto a hard surface, the wood floor.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, the cord, which is what split the skull. Like, yeah, that was quite a big fall for such a small baby. Right around the same age, with still a tender neck, you know, still
Mm-hmm.
not totally strong enough to do everything yet. And, yeah. So when you think, like, when I think about Harvey went through that and how scary that was, and other than like the bruise and the split that had to heal, and he's got a little scar there now, he was fine.
Yeah, so it's really...
Christopher fell down. My youngest brother fell down a whole fucking flight of stairs and then landed on the concrete basement. And we had the fucking paramedics and everybody come, hospital, all that shit. And he was fine. No concussion.
He had a bruise on his arm and a little scratch on his arm.
That was it. An entire flight of fucking stairs all the way down. Bang, 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 splat. And he was fine. By the time the paramedics got there, he was like giggling. Like he was...
Yeah, we were more shook up than him.
Oh, yeah, we were all... I got a call. I was at my friend's house, and there was like a foot of snow on the ground, and I didn't even lace my shoes. I ran home with my coat open, because Christopher was like my baby. He was like, oh my God, I loved that boy so much, and I took so much care of him when he was a baby. And we're crying, we're freaking out. Somebody had just forgotten to latch the basement door, and...
Down he went.
And he was fine.
Yeah, so it takes some serious... intentional trauma to cause these injuries.
Yeah.
But
babies are rubbery.
Let's talk about the triggers.
Yeah.
The most common trigger is frustration over crying. Studies show that many AHT events occur when a caregiver becomes overwhelmed by crying and they shake the baby in a moment of panic or anger.
Yeah.
The high-risk situations are sleep-deprived parents, which you already talked about, young or inexperienced caregivers, a stressful home environment, parents with mental health issues, and caregivers that are unfamiliar with babies' normal crying patterns, such as a mother might know what a tired cry versus a hungry cry sounds like.
Yeah.
A caregiver might not know what the baby's cry means.
Yeah, you begin to differentiate the sounds your baby's making. If it's a wet, if it's I'm crying because there's a gas bubble and I need to shit and I can't, if I'm hungry, if something happens, like a startled cry, like, yeah, you know, when you're the primary caregiver, you know what every little fucking cry
or like means. I put this beautiful dress on you and there is goddamn, who in the hell puts packing pins in baby's clothing? And then you put the dress on your baby and they're screaming and it's a cry you never heard before because they're getting pinned by packing pins in baby clothing.
That's why I've always hated dresses.
Maybe it is.
I didn't wear dresses until I was like 23 years old. Everybody just thought I was a lesbian, but
it was a trauma.
Maybe
post-traumatic stress.
I don't think I've ever heard that story before. That's wild.
So medical records show that AHT is often caused by babysitters, nannies, boyfriends, non-biological caregivers, overwhelmed parents, inexperienced young caregivers like au pairs, and the context often appears in high-profile cases. So the symptoms can range from mild to catastrophic.
In the news in these days, when I hear about shit happening to babies and infants, I feel like I'm always hearing it was the boyfriend or whoever was watching the kid. Some non-biological person who was watching the kid and got frustrated and got tired of the bullshit and just wanted the kid to shut up. Like, I feel like that's what I hear about in modern times.
Yeah.
It's usually not the biological parent anymore, at least here in Ohio, where I'm hearing the regular news every day. It's usually a boyfriend or a girlfriend.
Right.
Just
I've heard some terrible stories.
Yeah, like I want to be dating this person. They happen to have this baby. I got stuck watching this fucking baby and it won't shut up. Like, that's the vibe.
Yep. The severe signs of abusive head trauma are unresponsiveness, seizures, difficulty breathing, vomiting, loss of consciousness, and coma. Now, there's milder signs that are often overlooked are lethargy, poor feeding, irritability. They have changes in sleep patterns, and many caregivers say they found the baby like this shortly after the injury. Long-term consequences are permanent brain damage, cerebral palsy, blindness, seizure disorders, learning disabilities, behavioral issues, and speech or motor impairment.
Maybe mom was shaking the baby and that's why she can't ever pronounce any of the fucking words.
My mom used to tape my pacifier in my mouth. Did I ever tell you that? I cried all the time too. I was just like you.
I'm sure that your mom did a number of things. There's a reason why I would not speak to her
Yeah, she
for
told
the
me.
majority of my adult life. I had no relationship with her.
One time she was like, Kelly, I had to tape your pacifier in your mouth when you were a baby and nobody would babysit you because you cried constantly. And that hurt my feelings. I thought that was a terrible thing that she taped my pacifier in my mouth, but I guess she didn't shake me, so that was her only way to cope.
No, it was a terrible thing, Mom. It was a terrible thing to have done to you. And maybe you cried all the time because you were lacking any kind of maternal bond.
Well, my grandmother said I never cried at her house.
Because she was the only one that you ever maternally bonded with. Because she was an attentive, mostly loving person. That being said, also a terrible fuck up. And that was the best place for you to go. How sad is that?
It's pretty sad.
So, yeah, no, Jesus Christ. It's a wonder that you're here. It's a wonder that I'm here. This all is a miracle. We're filming a miracle right now. Yeah, I don't know how you survived your childhood, Mom. Big guns, Kel, over here.
Guardian angels.
Can't keep her down.
Mortality rates are high, around 15 to 30%, depending on the severity. But beginning in the early 2000s, shaken baby syndrome became the subject of significant scientific debate because the questions raised were, can the triad occur without shaking? And yes, it can. That's what I was talking about.
Well, and I'm sure because there were some people who were probably like, I get it. It looks like I shook my baby, but I swear to fucking God, I didn't. I never would do that.
Exactly.
And if your baby does have like SIDS, like sudden infant death syndrome or something like that, that became more, that you heard more about. Yeah, you're dealing with like the absolute worst agony and grief ever of losing your baby, simultaneously trying to defend yourself. Like, I didn't do anything to hurt my baby. I never would. But realizing it just looks like you did. You know what I mean? Like, it absolutely, oh yeah, your baby just suddenly stopped breathing. And you're just like, yeah, dude, I know how it sounds, but yes. Like, and you want to make sure that you're punishing those who need to be fucking punished.
Right.
And helping the ones grieve and mourn that just lost their baby through no fault of their own. So yeah, I'm sure that scientists were like, we really need to make sure that we can pin down what the fuck would cause these certain things to happen so that we're not throwing innocent parents who are suffering a terrible tragedy in jail, or whoever might have been around the baby if it wasn't the parent or, you know, a babysitter or whoever.
Right.
And that's the thing about law and the justice system is that every person says, I didn't do it. Even the ones who did.
Yeah.
So you have to be able to figure out.
You have to investigate.
Yeah. Who did. So, or if the body itself did it through, you know, disease or fault or whatever. So, yeah. And until enough kids wind up dead that you have a fucking field study to go off of. And do you really want enough kids dead to be able to study this? No, you know what I mean? Of course not. It does take a long time for you to be able to build the data that you need to say, like, definitively, this is what we're dealing with, or this is what we're dealing with.
Right.
Icky business, but important business nonetheless.
Well, the consensus today is that most pediatric and neurological organizations still affirm violent shaking can cause the injury seen in AHT, the abusive head trauma. However, the triad alone cannot prove the mechanism or the timing. and each case requires full medical and forensic investigation. This nuance is central to cases like Louise Woodward's trial. The legal implications are that the cases often involve complex medical testimony, conflicting expert witnesses, timing debates, questions of intent versus accident, and heavily emotional courtroom atmospheres.
Yeah.
So that's all hard in the courtroom to get a jury to follow, understand, pick up on everything.
Yeah.
Because infants cannot speak and external injuries are often absent, much depends on medical interpretation, caregiver statements, and timing of symptom onset. This makes these cases among the most contentious in modern criminal law.
Oh, yeah. Everybody wants to see somebody fry for a child being injured or let alone killed.
Mm-hmm.
So, that doesn't sit well with anybody. And it's got to be tough to be in the jury, on a jury in those circumstances. And feeling the weight, feeling of the real weight of the world on you, trying to get justice for this person who can't speak for themselves. Never could have.
Yeah.
Even if it hadn't killed them, they still wouldn't be able to tell you,
Let's say you don't understand the medical terminology and now you're wondering, I don't want to put an innocent person to jail. What if this is some medical problem, not that this person abused?
Yeah, because this other doctor got up on stand and said like, oh, well, such and such would cause this. And now you're thinking like, well, I'm not a fucking doctor. That doctor said that something else could cause this. And
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's difficult.
But that's why I'm saying if you've been taking your baby to your well visits and, it's 2 weeks, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, you know what I mean? Like by 8 months, how old Maddie was at the time of his death, he had probably a substantial amount of child visits. They monitor the height and growth, what percentile your child's in. They ask you questions. They do certain things with the baby to monitor, like, are their muscles developing? Are there, how do their bodies look? Are they reaching like they're supposed to? Are they responding like they're supposed to?
Yes.
The doctors are noting a lot at those visits. If you've been taking your kid to those visits and they've been growing at a normal rate, like every time they went, they had gained some weight, they had gained some height and stuff, now like my daughter Lindsay, she was always underweight, she was always tall and skinny,
right.
She's still tall and skinny, but while maybe at the first visit they're thinking like, is this woman feeding her fucking baby? We go back to the next one and she has put some weight on and she's still really tall for her age and really skinny for her age, even when she was a baby. So now they're trying to see like, maybe this is just a kid who's always going to be a little tall and skinny. And she's tracked that way forever. Harvey was always short and fat. He always was my little fucking bowling ball baby.
Oh.
But the point of me saying this is if you have this history to go by where the doctor's like, no, I saw that baby and it was always responsive and turned its head when I walked through the room and looked at me. And when I reached out, the baby reached for me. Mm-hmm. Or, they get a little older, the baby shied away from me because the baby's learning that maternal, like, mom keeps me safe. I don't know you. Like, there's all these things that would show that a baby is without head problems, or is being fed well, which, if you're malnourished, that can also cause poor brain development and these kinds of things. So if you can come to the court and be like, no, look at the test, like look at every test that we had done on my baby and they were always fine. And then all of a sudden their fucking brain swelled up and their eyes bulged out, like you would have to have all of that in order to help prove the case. But can you imagine if you're a poor person and you just couldn't get to the well child visits?
Oh.
But you also couldn't, how do you then prove what was normal and what was not?
Mm-hmm.
You just have to go by eyewitness testimony then.
Yeah. I mean, there wouldn't be any other way to prove anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why medical care is so important. That's why I'm for universal health care.
Yeah. It's why medical care for young babies and going and taking them and taking the time to make sure that they're on track is important. So that, God forbid, something is going to be wrong, they do catch it ahead of time. Not because I'm like, yeah, you better keep a record in case somebody shakes your baby. That probably won't happen. But, the whole point of taking them is to make sure that you do know, like, it's a little weird. They're not putting on any weight. And we want to look into that. Like, what's going on? Your baby needs to put on weight to be healthy and to stay ahead on things like that. So, and then in this case, hopefully it helped nail the
It did.
Nanny to the wall.
The key prosecution points were there was medical certainty, as believed at the time, because of the triad of SBS injuries, shaken baby syndrome, equaled violent abuse. Matthew had lost consciousness within seconds, according to medical certainty, and only Louise was with him during that window. So the behavioral evidence was that she resented the household rules. She was fed up, according to witnesses. They claimed she handled the children too roughly. There was no plausible accident that matched the injuries. The expert testimony, doctors testified that the injuries were comparable to a high-speed car crash.
Yeah.
Not consistent with any kind of a shortfall. The retinal hemorrhages were classic shaken baby syndrome markers. And the prosecution's open emotional appeal was photos of the baby, which, as I said, beautiful boy. Testimony from grieving parents, the suffering of an 8-month-old child who was in intensive care for 5 days. And then the defense's case, I'm going to save this because there's something on there I want to talk about after.
You did bring up, though, that people had witnessed her, like maybe neighbors or visitors at the home had witnessed her being rough with the kids. Like, come on, it's time for a nap, or like yanking or something.
That's what people testified.
That is telling, because if a person's being rough with children with spectators in the room,
what are they doing behind
what are they
closed
doing
doors?
when no one's there?
Yeah.
Everybody minds their P's and Q's when someone's watching. And if you start to let that slip a little bit around people and you really don't even give a fuck, chances are when no one's around, it's worse.
Right.
This goes for any type of domestic violence situation.
Oh, definitely.
It's whatever you're seeing, it's worse behind closed doors. You never know the full extent of what somebody would do.
That is true.
Sometimes there's no tell. Sometimes people look totally harmless and you don't know what's going on. You know what I mean? So
yes.
If neighbors or other people had started seeing her being a little grabby, shovey, bitchy with the kids, that's a pretty good sign that she was overwhelmingly frustrated.
I think so. Yeah, she seemed frustrated, overwhelmed, pissed off, fed up.
Yeah.
She was at her wit's end. So the defense's strategy was that they didn't outright claim innocence at first. Instead, they challenged the timing of the injuries. They questioned the science behind shaken baby syndrome. They suggested prior injuries could have weakened the brain, and they asserted that there was lack of intent or any motive. The key defense points were Louise had no history of violence, no evidence of ongoing abusiveness towards either children. No witnesses actually saw her lose control. Several medical experts ended up testifying that injuries could occur hours before the symptoms. And that's where I remember thinking it might have been mom. It might have been the mom or dad.
Yeah, that's me. Like, maybe you don't lose consciousness until the swelling gets so bad that it presses on something and you lose consciousness. You know what I mean? Like, I could see, but I'm not a medical doctor. And if a medical doctor is like, no, I'm telling you, with what we saw on the scan, that always means instantaneous, they would know. I don't know.
Well, the medical experts on the defense's side actually testify that there were chronic signs of hematomas, and a less forceful impact could start a chain reaction. So who's to say? That's where I'm saying the jury has to
They have to be so
weigh
confused.
which one do I believe.
Well, at this point, I would still believe like, oh, okay, so you had been shaking him for months, maybe.
That very well
I still
could
think
have
that
been.
it's you.
Mhm.
You know.
Mm-hmm. So the alternative theories that they presented were a short fall days earlier, a household accident, a pre-existing brain condition, or a combination of older injuries and then a minor new event that started the chain reaction.
I'm telling you, an 8-month-old doesn't have a shortfall that you don't fucking know about, though.
I know. Yeah. Louise testified. She described feelings of panic and confusion and how she attempted to revive the baby, and she denied violence of any kind. Her calm, direct demeanor divided public opinion. Supporters saw honesty, but critics saw a flat, very flat effect. The jury ended up deliberating for 26 hours on October 30th, 1997. Their decision, they found her guilty of second-degree murder.
Yeah.
But the verdict meant mandatory life imprisonment.
Yeah, you can still get life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With parole after 15 years. A dramatic gasp actually filled the courtroom at that. Because
That she could get paroled.
that she got second-degree murder. People were on her side.
Oh, okay.
Especially Britain. They erupted in outrage. The British really believed that she was, what do they call that, railroaded?
By the American law experience, I'm sure. I'm sure they thought so.
That
No one's
was
throwing
proven.
Mary Poppins in fucking prison.
They're saying nothing was proven. And, they're calling the SBS science junk science. And
yeah, it's, I'm sure that it felt that way to them. I'm sure that it did, because you didn't catch anybody red-handed. You just have this baby that had this fucking brain swell up and lose all function, and now it's dead. And everybody's sad about that. No one feels good about that. But unfortunately, the 2-year-old wasn't there or old enough to say, yeah, I watched the nanny do it, or mommy used to shake us all the time,
yes.
So yeah, you're just left trying to, it's a circumstantial case, unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean, unless you believe the science.
Weren't there scientists on the stand that said that it could happen hours later?
Mm-hmm.
That the mom could have done it and then laid the baby down and said like, bye, I'm going to work. And then the nanny
you're
walks
having
in.
to pick and choose.
You have to pick and choose which science you want to believe.
Yeah.
I can see why they were feeling like this is unfair.
It was a new science. Nobody had heard of it. So Britain erupted in outrage. Fundraisers were formed for Louise's appeal. American audience were split, and the media coverage intensified, framing it as science versus uncertainty and grief versus doubt.
I'm sure the au pair business, this EF or what the fuck ever it was, EF nannies or whatever the
Au pair, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure that they were like, it wasn't her, it wasn't her, it wasn't her. They don't want to fucking hurt business either. You know what I mean? They don't want this bad press.
Mm-hmm.
Britain doesn't want this bad press. Like, oh, evil British nannies. You know how Americans are going to twist it.
Right.
Americans would never,
Right.
Yeah, it got to be so much more than the justice for this little boy.
Exactly. All right, here is the extraordinary thing that happened. In a rare move, Judge Hiller Zobel conducted an independent review of all trial evidence.
Okay.
His findings were that the jury had grounds to convict something, but the evidence for intentional murder was weak. Injuries could be caused by rough handling, panic, and accidental force.
More like manslaughter.
And Yeah, it didn't produce clear evidence of homicidal intent. So the result was...
I'll agree with that. I don't think that she thought shaking the baby was going to lead to its death. She might have even thought, I'm going to hurt this little fucker. But I don't think that she knew or thought for a second that it was going to lead to absolute brain damage death.
I think as hard as she must have shaken it, that he was brain dead pretty much immediately.
Oh, I think that she immediately realized that she did irreparable damage.
I think she should have known, if I'm going to be this violent with the baby, there's going to be consequences. So, second-degree murder.
I tend to agree with you. Like, how the fuck did you not know?
She intentionally shook it violently. Whether she knew it was going to hurt it or not shouldn't matter. She was violent with that baby.
Yes, but we've talked about this before. If you and I are in a fight at the top of the stairs and we're getting loud and we're shoving each other and we're pissed off and you trip and you fall down the stairs and die, I didn't mean to fucking kill you. I meant to push you. When I was mad, I actually probably meant to give you a black eye. Like, fuck you. Like, I had every intent to hurt you. I never meant to kill you. And that's where you get like a manslaughter. You know what I mean? Like, that's where you get different levels of how much intent was there. You know what I mean? And maybe, like I said, maybe she did mean, maybe she thought for sure that she was going to hurt that baby and then she was going to quit that fucking job that day. But did she know that it was going to stop brain function and cause irreparable damage and death? Or did she think, like, I am not condoning this, but what if she took the baby's arm and said, like, fuck you, and, like, snapped its arm? She knew she was going to break its arm. Yeah. She knows that that's going to cause a lot of fucking pain, and then that's a crime. You can't hurt other people, right? Right. And so I think we're fine. Okay. I know I bumped it, but yeah, we're good. Did she think, I'm going to hurt this fucking baby, it never shuts up and stops crying, and I hate this fucking job? Yeah, I think so. I think that's what she wanted to do. Was she aware when she was doing it that death was imminent? Even if it was really forcible?
I would say no. I would say she wasn't intentionally trying to kill the baby. Yeah. I would say she was trying to hurt it.
Yes, I think she was trying to hurt the baby. And she took it too far.
Well,
either way, I want to shake the fuck out of her until her brain swells and she can't see anymore and dies.
Tell me if you agree with this. Tell me if you agree with what the judge decided. He reduced the conviction from second-degree murder to involuntary manslaughter, and the sentence was only 279 days, which was exactly the time she had already served.
Time served. No, I disagree with that.
And she was released immediately.
I think she should have done more time in jail. I think that she needed to grow up in jail. I think she really needed to, like, fucking sit on it and think about it.
Yeah, I hate
unless she had done anything, unless she had said anything up until that point that owned the action, that admitted, this is what I did, this is why I did it, I hate myself, I have to live with this every day, I regret my actions. Unless she did something to show that she had already started, like, taking accountability for what she did.
Which she didn't.
That tells me you need to be in fucking jail for a little while. Like, maybe a decade, and we'll see at 7 years if you're what you're ready to say.
Yes. Yeah. So after the trial, Louise Woodward left the U.S. days later to return to the U.K. And there she was greeted by a media frenzy. But she eventually studied law and became a dance instructor.
What? That sounds like something I would do. She studied law, but then she taught hip hop.
That's like me. I studied nursing and became an Uber driver.
Yeah. Yes.
But she got married.
She studied law, but she sucked at that too. She shook the shit out of her law books.
She got married and she settled into a private life, avoiding public comment.
Tell me she never had kids, please.
I didn't look it up because I really don't want to know. But the Eben family's response, they strongly objected to this reduced verdict.
I'm sure.
And they maintain the injuries were caused by a violent assault, which is in no way involuntary for it to be involuntary manslaughter.
And I can see, like I said, I'm not disagreeing. It's not that I can't see why they feel that way. I do. I think that everybody should fucking know that you can't do something mean and violent to a baby. Like, a baby's body is not going to be able to withstand a violent action.
Of course.
I feel like everybody fucking knows that. That's why we hold babies and pass them so gently and get nervous when we have to hold them and protect them when we walk downstairs. And I think that's everybody's instinct, is like, babies are fragile. So yeah, like, it seems like a no fucking brainer to me that if you do something violent to a baby, that it's going to be worse than if you did something violent to an adult.
I agree.
I agree, but I don't know. I don't know. I guess if I was an attorney and I had to be her attorney, I felt like I could adequately argue that she had no intentions of hurting this baby. Like, yes, she did something that was cruel, out of frustration, but she had absolutely no intention of causing the death of. I feel like I could have argued that either way, which is really all that law is just arguing well.
It is.
It's not about right or wrong.
Yes. And it just depends on who's the better arguer.
Yep. But I disagree with the judge giving her time served. I think he just wanted her the fuck out of here so media frenzy would go away.
I agree.
Go home, bitch.
Yep. It was such a hugely publicized trial, and he was getting bad publicity.
Yeah.
So the case became a turning point. Dozens of medical articles were published. Courts re-examined the reliability of the triad. Several later convictions in other cases were overturned. And debate is still ongoing today, actually. But one thing that the Ebens did in memory of their son was form a foundation. It's called the Maddie Eben Foundation at www.maddieeben.org. And I'll put that up there. What it's advocating for is awareness of abusive head trauma, education for parents and caregivers, funding medical research, and honoring victims of abusive trauma. And then what hospitals now teach is, have you ever heard of this? The period of purple crying.
I don't think so.
It's new. It's how to cope with infant crying, when to seek help, and never to shake a baby, even in frustration.
Well, yeah, I've heard all that.
So what the purple stands for, the period of purple, it's, what do they call it?
An acronym?
Acronym. So P for peak, that means their peak crying increases week by week and then peaks at about 6 to 8 weeks and then comes down.
Comes down, okay.
Then the U is for unexpected, and that's everything is done, fed, changed, napped, burped. Why is this baby crying?
Yeah.
And that's where I would say to anybody watching this, if you're having a baby and all of those things are done and your baby is still crying, put that baby on its back,
roll its knees into its belly.
Pull its legs up towards its chest.
Oh, I almost just farted just now when I did that.
And then roll them around. This releases the gas and they'll fart.
Oh yeah,
my kids feel so much better.
My kids used to love watching me do it. So the younger babies, like Harvey, I would take his knees and I would go like this and push him in his belly, and he would go.
Yeah. Yeah.
It would literally make him fart because it helps get that trapped gas out of their belly, like rolling it around and moving it through the intestines on its way down. And
I would say 9 out of 10 times, if everything else is done and they're still crying, it's gas.
Yeah.
If they've been burped and they can't burp, they've got to fart. Then the R is for resist, soothing. Nothing is working. And again, that's gas. That's colic.
yeah.
P for pain. If they have a pain-like face, they're grimacing, they have a red face, they're tight, their fists are tight.
They're in some sort of pain somewhere.
These are, in my opinion, these are the things that cause a caregiver to become upset.
Yeah.
But they're things that I wish they would teach about the trapped gas, because nobody ever taught me.
Well, I would say check their outfits, take their outfit completely off of them, feel their outfits, make sure nothing's poking them, make sure nothing's too tight on them. Look at their skin to make sure that nothing was digging in too tight if it's elastic or something like that. Try a bath, try warm water to soothe, and the warm water can also help with pain, but it could also help with gas. And then, always gas. Always gas.
Yeah, always just roll that little baby butt up and their knees up, and then just...
Yeah, squish their knees in their belly and just do little circles one way and then little circles back the other way to help that air that's in the top of their tummies, help it move down through for them.
It works. So if they're crying, the L is for long lasting. So if that's several hours a day, if they're crying several hours a day. E is for the evening. Typically, babies crying worsens come nighttime.
Yeah.
What you should do if these things are happening and you feel your emotional level going from 1 to 10, put the baby down somewhere safe, walk away.
Yeah, a flat area with nothing around them, the ABC, alone, back, crib.
Ask for help. If there's any available that can help you, ask. If there's not, walk away and give yourself and your baby a break until you're calmed down and you're ready to take care of the baby without hurting it.
You go have a cup of coffee or a hot shower yourself,
Absolutely.
If the baby's got the ABC going on, it's alone on its back in its crib, meaning no blankets, nothing around it, it's not going to choke, and all it's doing is crying, well, hell, if it's already been crying for an hour in your arms and that baby hasn't spontaneously died yet, a 20-minute shower for you isn't going to kill that fucking baby.
That's right.
Go take a little shower, come back.
Take care of yourself.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying neglect your baby. I am saying when you feel like hurting your baby because it will not stop crying and you don't know what to do and you feel frustrated and you feel like you might hurt your baby.
Yeah, don't just leave it for the night. Leave it for a brief period of time so that you can breathe again.
Walk away. Just walk away. And it's no shame against you for doing that. It's actually a brave thing to do because mothers don't want to walk away from their babies.
Yeah.
And that's what's frustrating because you kind of do. You kind of want to get away from this crying thing that won't shut up.
Who the fuck wouldn't? No one wants to listen to screaming all the time. And also, if your baby is crying for hours on end, you need to talk to a fucking doctor. That's not normal.
Right. They may have lactose intolerance.
Yeah, you need to switch out formulas or the fucking fabric softener or something.
Hopefully
off.
It's nothing major. It could be something major.
Yeah, you need to, because I'm telling you, my kids cried enough to drive me nuts, but they never cried for hours on end. Like, it was always just rant. It was at the night, and it was only Lindsay. I'll tell you, only Lindsay ever really got to me. Aubrey was, like I said, I never fucking
she was
cried.
Just a sweet pea.
And Harvey only cried when he needed the mains. You know, time to eat, I'm tired, need changed. He didn't cry other than that. He was always just bubbly,
He was.
Lindsay would just cry for seemingly no fucking reason in the night. And it was because she was so clingy. She just had to be with me. She had to be next to me. It was insane. And I've raised other babies. I helped with Christopher. I helped with all my cousins. Mm-hmm. I've never experienced anything like it. No, that girl just had to be different. In my fucking arms.
She was very different.
Was not happy.
Yeah.
And yeah, it did. It got to be a lot because I got tired of sleeping in a chair holding my baby because it did make me nervous to hold her. I was afraid, like, what if her fucking face gets wedged and she suffocates or I drop, like, it did make me nerve-wracked.
Of course.
And I wish I could have had a little more fucking help. And, and I loved her deeply. I quite honestly never did want to put her down.
Right.
But, I also knew that she needed to know how to sleep in her crib and it wasn't normal for her to need me that much. Babies need their moms. And I hold the fuck out of my kids. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm always holding my kids. They were never down. So she should have been cool for like 5 hours a night to like go to sleep without me because I was holding her all fucking day. I didn't work. I played with my babies.
Right.
So it was just those rare occasions in the night where she would just scream to no avail. You know, where I was like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? It just gets to be a lot. But
Well, if you were, if this case touched you in any way, and you want to go to the maddieepen.org foundation. They take charitable donations, and you can read about what they're doing, and it's a really good thing. I highly support this and recommend it. And if you've stuck around for this long, we would like to thank you for visiting our channel. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you have, we'll see you next time. We've got another good case coming up. Oh my gosh, wait till you hear the next one. It's good.
is it a good one?
It's going to be good.
Make sure to comment your parenting horror stories so we can all commiserate together, because I know every parent watching this has had those moments where the crying just won't stop and your eye is just twitching, you know?
Yes.
This isn't about shaming
No.
anybody. This is about being real, that parenting is hard, and don't be afraid to ask for help or seek help.
In the meantime, thanks for stopping by.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Adios.